Hello, students. Welcome back. We are on our way to record a podcast. So, I want you to know what a podcast is. A podcast is a recording that is available in the web, in internet, and that you can download and save in your computer, in your cell phone, in your laptop, in your iPad, in your iPod, in your MP3 player, and you can listen anytime you want. Usually, podcasts belong to a series, and for me, the most representative of this is in BBC. For example, if you go to the page of the BBC, www.bbc.co.uk, not .com, you will find the news, okay? And if you scroll down the page, you will get to this gray area in which you will find Learning English. If you click Learning English, you will find this page that is really good. Okay, you have a lot of things: 6 minutes English, today's phrase, spoken English, community, topical English, etc. And here you have the categories: general and business English, grammar, talking, quizzes, the flatmates, that is like a soap opera, community for teachers, etc. etc. Let's go to general and business English. In here you have this, all these 6 minutes English, express English, talk about English, other series, but I like English at work. This one is a series in which you can check all the episodes. For example, they are in the episode 66, which is a lot, and then you can go back to the introduction. On February 2012 they began, and you have all these episodes available for you. In the introduction, let's take the introduction, you have the program, and then you can download the audio, okay, or download the text. Okay, so you need to duplicate with right click, duplicate the page, and then if you want the text, it will appear. Okay, and there you have the text that accompanies the audio. Okay, so uh, uh, as I am recording with the microphone, you cannot listen the audio directly, but you can try this at home. Okay, here you have the text. Okay, you can explore it, you can watch it as a PDF document, you can save it, okay, whatever you want. I like this one because you have the audio and the text, and you can follow the things. And I, as a teacher, sometimes create exercises for that. But that's the idea of a podcast. It's a recording that you can download. You can go directly to different podcasts. You can uh, Google the podcast. Only by googling the word podcast, well, you have the definitions: iTunes, BBC podcast downloads, Vista podcasts, audio, home, nature podcast. Okay, you can explore all these things, and let's check one random. And for example, here you have English as a second language podcast, and you will have the latest listening, learning guide, etc., etc. And this is a good site because you can listen these episodes, and in some cases you can get the transcript. Okay, you can also type it like that: podcasts with transcript, and you can search download English podcast transcript better in English, learn English. Okay, for example, this was listening downloads archive with the British Council, which is the Airbus. You have the script, all color reviews. Okay, you have a lot of pages. For example, I'm going to recommend you some that I have been getting from my course in podcasting. And then you have this from the University of Sydney, a podcast for educators, okay, that you can find, a podcast alley, listen, podcastinenglish.com. This charges you. This ask money from you, but later, because in some cases they have free podcasts. Better English. Mhm. Here you have conversation transcript. Okay, you have the MP3, the PDF, or the Word thing. Okay. Um, then we have from Podomatic. They have some channels, and they have splendid speaking here. And remember that we have Audacity. It's loading, so we can, well, if that doesn't work, we can go to Podomatic. Okay, well, there is a problem here. Well, for any of those pages, you have the chance to subscribe to this podcast. Okay, and you can subscribe. For that, you will need uh, iTunes. iTunes is a very popular program that probably you have, especially if you are a Mac user. And you need to go, once you install and open uh, iTunes, you need to go to the iTunes store, and here you have music, films, App Store, books, and podcasts. This is where you need to go, okay? Podcasts. And it will take you there. And for example, here you have all the different podcasts that are available in in uh, in iTunes. Okay, a lot of podcasts, and you can narrow your search by searching. And for example, you can write learning English, and you will get a lot of podcasts for learning English. Mhm. Here you have for kids, etc., etc. Okay. Okay. So I want to tell you some characteristics of the podcast. You have here a lot. Okay. Usually the podcast is divided in episodes, and you have one episode that is part of a series. Okay, let's go back to learning English. For example, English at Work is the series, and for example, in this case, the introduction episode is the episode. Okay, usually they are short. They are 4 or 5 minutes, but in some cases you have a very long podcast. For example, if I'm going to show you my collection of podcasts in iTunes, and for example, I have another BBC podcast. I like the BBC, and I have Steve Wright's Big Guests, that in some cases 16 minutes, 20 minutes, 16 minutes, or for example, from Radio 4, you have Drama of the Week, and for example, you have 45 minutes, 58 minutes, 50 minutes, things like that. For example, one that I recommend very much that is very funny, but that is in Spanish, is La Chora Interminable, but that's not for English. And well, there are a lot. I'm going to give you the links in the down below the video. You will be able to copy the links and explore them, okay, and get the idea, because in some time we will be making a podcast, okay. Well, I hope that was a good introduction to podcast to you. So I'll be in touch with you, students. Thank you.